Hello everyone, welcome to the budget session 2023. In this session, we are going to discuss the basic terminologies of the budget. Along with this, we are also going to discuss the basic highlights of the budget for this financial year, that is the coming financial year 2023-24. See, firstly, we should understand that the growth or the economy of the country has completely recovered. That is what been mentioned in our economic survey that that economy has completely recovered. So we can say that India has passed through many phases from normal to slowdown to negative growth rate to recession, and it has completely recovered. That means the growth rate has come back to the normal stage. So where it is mentioned clearly in the economic survey. Now we all know there is no such term mentioned in the constitution, that is as a budget. It is all mentioned like annual financial statement, which consists of three important documents. One is annual financial statement itself, second one is the finance bill, and third one is appropriation bill. So these three important put together are presented in the parliament, which has to be passed, and every bill has its own characteristics. See, the budget has two accounts. One is the revenue account as well as the capital account. And the revenue account deals with those things which do not has anything related to the assets. And the capital account deals with all those things which are related to the assets, creating of assets or disinvestments or dissolution of assets. Anything comes under assets related is part of the capital account. And other than those comes into the revenue account. Now remember, budget of 2023 can be easily discussed into different parameters. One is considering the most important parameter, which is inflation. Second one is very important parameter, that is employment. Third one is post-pandemic. How is government, how is the government schemes performance or the policies has made impact in the post-pandemic, and how well we have recovered back to the normal stage. And along with this, we should also link to recession, which is in and around, okay, which has led to huge scale of unemployment in the country. And mostly we all know the concept of capital flight, okay, due to which the foreign investments in India, okay, has moved out to USA or European countries because of the inflation or the interest rates. Inflation is quite high, so the scope of development or the profits could be very high in those countries, and hence the withdrawal of this foreign investments from our country will definitely reduce the RBI reserves. So let us see all these kind of terms now. How are these terms which are interrelated, etc. Now, what is the budget talks about? Budget talks about Amrit Kal. Amrit Kal means from 75 to 100 years, this 25 years, what are you are going to make investments in the country, irrespective of who is investing. That could be a foreign investments or the domestic investments. Both are going to set results for you for the long term. So what are the visions? We have three important visions under Amrit Kal. Amrit Kal means it is a term which is taken from the Vedic astrology, which says that India's visions are going to meet in a long term, but from 75 to 100 years, whatever we are going to invest, India is going to see the fruits of its investments or its hard work. Now, what is the first vision? That is opportunities for the citizens in terms of employment. That is, you have to create an opportunity, create a scope of development in the country. Second one, there must be a growth. So the growth should be accompanied by development. So both of them things should move in a parallel way, along with the creation of jobs. Strong and stable macroeconomic environment, which includes inflation, okay, plus reducing income inequalities, all right, employment generation, reduction of poverty, all falls under macroeconomic indicators. So our target in this next 25 years is going to reduce the or control the inflation, okay, which is very high, which is actually impacting the saving rates of the middle class. Because if the inflation is very high, out of pocket expenditures will be very very high to buy or to purchase any of the good. The pocket expenditures are so high that your saving rates will deteriorate or it will keep falling. So when the saving rates are falling, investments will also fall. So in this case, India wants to achieve high level of investments. So when it wants to achieve high level of investments, it should have high level of savings. That means out of pocket expenditures should be made from high to moderate. That means inflation which has been shooted up has to be much in control. That means you are actually following the recommendations given by Urjit Patel committee, maintaining the inflation at 4 plus or minus 2 percentage. Saptarishi, that is means what? It's a seven important priorities. First one is inclusive development. Inclusive development means inclusive of all the sections of the society. That is, the growth rate or the progress of GDP should reach to all the sections of the society. Okay. Next, infrastructure and investments. In this budget, the most important target of our budget is the capital expenditures, where the government has targeted the capital expenditures directly and indirectly. The both the way we have targeted the capital expenditures, that I will take in the next slide. Unleashing the potential, that means what is our scope, what is our targets, and what is our capability, that we can easily find it out. Green growth, that means coming up with the green technologies, okay, improving the green environment or green cover, okay, coming up with the green technologies, clean energy technologies, all right, having a tie up with the developed countries or coming up with an innovations, etc. Next, financial sector reforms, like coming up giving a license to a lot of fintech companies, okay, banking reforms, strengthening non-banks, all right, etc. And the youth power is the next, reaching the last mile, that is the weaker sections needs to be promoted, SCSTs needs to be promoted, etc. So Saptarishi, that is the seven important priorities we have, targeting all these priorities at a large scale. Next, Sabka Saath Sabka Vikas, inclusive development. Here we are considering agriculture and cooperatives. This budget talks about infrastructure. This budget talks about agriculture. This budget talks about MSMEs. And finally, promoting cooperatives. So what are this? We'll see now. So agriculture and cooperatives, first in this model, Sabka Saath Sabka Vikas, inclusive development model means building digital public infrastructure that we can have access so that the information can be given large scale, promoting mainly the small and the marginal farmers who do not have much access to the technologies, in terms of promotions, in terms of awareness, okay, educating them so that they can produce or they can increase in their income levels. Next, Atmanirbhar Bharat Horticulture Clean Plant Program to launch for what? Boosting the horticultural crops, making India global hub for millets. So government has come up with the very important program which is called as Sri Anna, which is directly related to millets, bajra, jowar. These are the very important uh, parts or characters of this millets, where the government anyways, like we have introduced, we have targeted this year as an international year of millets. In production, if we take, all right, in exports we can take, in a world ranking we take, in a nation ranking we take, India is one of the top in terms of production, in terms of exports, and toward the world, 40% is what we are producing, 40% is we are contributing to exports. So it's a very large scale. That means what? Support to be given to IMMR, that is Hyderabad, which is a research center for the promotion of the production of millets. All right. Next, setting up of agriculture accelerated fund. So this is related to the startups. This is related to the startups, which means that we have large scale startups in our country which are actually directly related to the agriculture sector, which are promoting agriculture, working for the awareness of farmers, working for the development of the farm technologies, working for increasing the income of the farmers. Put together, government has come up with agriculture accelerated fund. That is, all the startups who are already been tie up with the agriculture sector. Here I'll be giving them some promotion in terms of technology or some sort of technical support, or I'm giving them financial support so that they can be directly engaged in the rural areas. Next, 20 lakh crores agriculture credit has been targeted at animal husbandry, dairy and fishery sector, which means that government is coming up with the various reform which is actually promoting the small and the marginal farmers mainly. Next, setting up of widely available storage facilities. That means what? We actually lag because what all we have, it's been stored with FCI. Now, any sort of additional promotion, additional production or productivity, we need to have the storage houses, warehouses, etc. So, such kind of promotions is being provided by the government. Now, credit sector, if we can take, see this credit sector, when we consider from the past few years or the past budgets, the agriculture credit from the government side in terms of revenue expenditures has always been high and it has been continuously increasing. And if you could see post COVID also, the production of food grain. Okay, if you take it a wheat, if you take it paddy, if you take it millets, has been continuously increased. Now, if you consider the health sector, there are so many like higher education related, so many institutions which are related to the health has been started. That means what? There are lot of pharmaceutical programs has been launched. Okay, R&D centers has been launched. But remember, the percentage of the expenditures towards the health in terms of GDP is always less. So government has targeted this so that now we can start promoting our own health sector, okay, so that it can actually help large sections of the society. So there is an increase in the expenditure on health and education. Like earlier it was 2.8 percentage of GDP, now it has gone to 2.9 percentage of GDP in terms of education. But if you take health sector, post pre-COVID it was 1.4 percentage of GDP. Now you can say it is 2.1. That means this is, we can actually say this is a very good sign that first time we could see that in the last trends, if we can check GDP in terms of this health sector that has crossed 2 percentage. So education and skilling. So education and skilling, like government has already launched in the last budgets like PME Vidya, okay, one class, okay, one nation, one class, one channel. All right. So institutions of education, national digital library. Okay, states will be encouraged to set up fiscal libraries at panchayats and ward levels. So this is to skill, upskill, okay, reskill the citizens of the country so that they can be educated across all the sections. The big tents that accommodates all. What are those? 9 crore drinking water connections has to be Jal Yojana to the rural households. Almost greater than 11 crores household toilets constructed under this Swachh Bharat mission. Cash transfer of 2.2 lakh crores to cover 11.4 crore farmers under PM Kisan. This is an inclusive growth achievements, and like LPG connections has been targeted, and vaccinations, okay, Jan Dhan bank accounts, okay, and this government has come up with Swasthya Bima Yojana. Okay, so in that case, government has come up with an insurance coverage for all the sections. Next, reaching the last mile in sense, we are actually targeting the tribals who stay or who live in the remote areas. That is, Pradhana Mantri Primitive Vulnerable Tribal Group Development Mission has been launched. Okay. Next, financial assistance to be given for sustainable micro irrigations. So, where are those? What do you mean by micro irrigation? Like sustainable usage of water, okay, without any loss. Okay, that means like without any additional or excess usage of water, or in those areas which are drought prone where you don't have much water facilities, there you will be using this techniques, drip irrigation. All right, so such kind of center private irrigation or sprinkler irrigation which can actually help in this micro irrigation techniques. So Ekalavya school models, okay, for this the last or the weaker sections. Okay, Bharat Street to be set up for digitalization of the ancient inscriptions. Okay, next, infrastructure and investments. Government has actually increased its capital investments, that is by 33.4 percentage to 10 lakh crores. See, capital expenditures capital expenditures, so that the government directly can target the states or directly can target the infrastructure facilities, or indirectly it can provide grants to the states to again promote the infrastructure facilities. So in this, government has targeted that I will give you 50-year interest-free loans. Okay, that you will be returning it back, but the time period is too long. Highest ever capital outlay. That means what? This railway budget, if you could see, we it has been already been merged with general budget. So 2.4 lakh crores has been given to the railways for its capital expenditures or to promote its infrastructure facilities. All right, that means what? Here in this case, this operating ratio of the railways is kept on increasing. Operating ratio means the amount which you invest and the returns you are getting. Okay, so you invest less and you get more returns. This is called as an operating ratio. That means what is that paisa that you are, what is that percentage you are investing to get rupees 100 as the government's revenue. So government actually invests somewhere around 96 rupees to get rupees 100. So government is actually saving some parts of return. That means what? The revenue receipts of the railways have been kept on slowly coming back to the normal phase. So government actually wanted to create urban infrastructure UIDF, so development fund. This is for what purpose? For development of the basic tier 2, tier 3 cities, okay, metro cities, etc. Because after 2030, most urbanization can take place, so that the urban local bodies will be given more power. Fine, so that these urban local bodies can be able to equip with lot of technology, okay, lot of funds, so that this urbanization can be easily managed. Unleashing the potential trust-based governance. What are those? Make artificial intelligence in India. Okay, national data protection. Vivad se Vishwas tak. Okay, where less stringent contract execution for MSMEs. I'll explain this in the next slide. Easier and standardized settlement schemes. E-codes, that is online facilities. Next, artificial based solutions in agriculture, health, and sustainable cities. Enable access to anonymized data for research by startups, relief to MSMEs. So that means what? Some compensations are given, GST compensation are given to them. Okay, 24 cross some water supply is being given. Okay, free electricity or compensation is being given to them. Next, faster settlement of contractual disputes of government. That means what? Any one who are actually involved in tax evasions, okay, tax evasions can come down with a settlement with the government under the scheme Vivad se Viswas Tak, so that it will increase the tax receipt, that is the revenue receipts of the government, plus unnecessary disputes can be controlled. Next, e-courts, that is for effective administration of the justice. Now, what is the major important entity here is the digital locker. Government has come up with the digital locker, which could actually be very useful for the people to store their very important documents. 100 labs for 5G spectrum services, which is going to be rolled out entire India, but it is going to take some time. Now, lab grown diamonds, this is very important. See, there is always a huge requirement for the natural diamonds. Might we import natural diamonds or we produce natural diamonds within the country, but the demand for the natural diamond is quite high. So Now we have come up with the concept of lab grown diamonds. So what do you mean by lab grown diamond? These diamonds are actually have a very similar feature, similar composition of natural diamonds, but these are grown directly in the labs. That means these are artificially grown but has a composition which are equal to the natural. That means what? It is actually increasing the domestic production. Now, government has come up with the green growth, that is PM Pranam has been launched, which will promote usage of green fertilizers, etc. So 500 new waste to wealth plants has been come up. Okay, that will convert this waste to energy related. Okay, next Misty to be taken up for the mangrove plantation. So what is the use of mangroves to protect the coastal ecosystems, to reduce the habitats there from natural disasters. So these are being under the MISTI projects. Amrit Dharohar, that is, it is useful for the promotion of the wetlands. So, and this many more other initiatives like to adopt natural farming, increasing the farmers' income. Okay, battery, national electric vehicle missions. Okay, coastal shipping for coastal energy efficiency, transportation, and you try to replace this old polluting vehicles under the guidelines of the Supreme Court as well as Green Tribunal, National Green Tribunal. Amrit PD, Youth Power. What is this? That is, you will come up with technical education, you will come up with research centers, you will come up with IPRs, you will come up with the more promotion of higher education, which is actually benefiting the youth. Okay, covering new courses like coding, AI, robotics, 3D printings. So next is like to boost tourism sector, like we have targeted tourism circuits, etc. States will be encouraged to come up with the unity malls, one district, one product. All right, geographical indication, handicraft, so that this will be promoted coming into one of the main important platforms. So when you talk about the financial sectors, okay, so government has given a lot of benefits to senior citizens, Mahila Samman Bachat Patra, and setting up of National Financial Information Registry, which will have one common registry or the platform for all the citizens, so that all the data can be stored at one place. Okay, linked to Aadhaar, linked to your PAN card, etc. Setting up of a central data processing centers, which will actually faster the handling of administrative work. This all comes under the Companies Act. And credit guarantee schemes. See, post-COVID or during COVID, MSMEs are the one who were heavily impacted due to this COVID scenario. That is comes under the manufacturing sector. So in terms of financial assistance, in terms of exports, in terms of production, in terms of labor or raw material availability, in all the cases MSMEs were heavily impacted. So government has come up with so many schemes like extended credit guarantee schemes, credit guarantees for MSMEs. So all this are going to help the MSMEs to get further promotion in terms of collateral free loans, etc. So this has been directly linked with Small Industries Development Bank of India. Okay, next, like gift IFSC, I'll be making a separate video, and this is a very important. Fiscal management, 50 years interest free loans will be given to the state, so that these are interest free and these are actually for the promotion of the capital expenditures with the making of an assets, etc. Okay, and their part is conditional, other part is unconditional, which is directly on the recommendations by 15th Finance Commission. Okay, next, fiscal deficit. Fiscal deficit has been targeted at 3.5 percentage for the states, and that is zero point 0.5 percentage has been given some allowances. Okay, the power sector reforms. Next, fiscal consolidation, that targeted fiscal deficit to be below 4.5 percentage. So this is for the central government, that by 25-26 4.5 percentage and below it will be, but let's see how it will work. Fiscal consolidation means consolidation both accounts, that is the revenue account and the capital account. Next, so what is our present fiscal deficit? If you can say, that is estimations are around 5.9. All right, that is it has to be around 2.5% of GDP as per the encasing committee, but due to the COVID and all, post-COVID, it has shooted up to 5.9 because of huge expenditures made by the government in terms of fiscal stimulus packages, Atmanirbhar Bharat schemes, giving some relief, okay, incentives, etc. Next, the revenue deficit is 2.9 percentage, and finally, the if you could see the primary deficit, okay, if you could see the primary deficit is at 2.3 percentage. So what is the formula for primary deficit? Primary deficit is equal to fiscal deficit minus interest payment. Those are the interest payments paid by the present government on the loans taken by the previous government. So GST monthly revenue collection continues to remain around 1.5 lakh crores. So this is like one scenario where the government's revenue has always been shooted up. That is, the average monthly collection of the government in terms of GDP has consistently increased from 2017 July. All right. Now, if you can look at the capital expenditures, it has increased by four times. That is from look at from 16 from 23, and what is this budget estimates? This is 10. So that means what 10 lakh crores has been the capital expenditures of the government, and the NPAs of the banks has also been fallen because of long-term repo rate ratios, because of the investments made by deliberate investments made by the government or diverting investments to be made into NBFCs, etc. All made the NPAs of the banks to fall or to come down. So CPA, WPA, I'll do a separate video on this, but just understand that the foreign reserves has again fallen. Okay, due to various reasons of not having much exports from our side because of the requirements, or the most countries have just come out from the pandemic because of the fall in the demand of the goods which are produced in India, also made to reduce the foreign reserves. And next is this is about foreign reserves, and next is import cover. Import cover is the reserves which you actually have in a year to cover for the months in a particular year, we can say. So that means like with the pace we are going, with the pace we are importing, we have to pay the import bill. So what is the reserves we have? So how many number of months we can survive? Okay. So almost it has again come down. So it is around 10 months we can survive with what is that we actually have the reserves. Okay. For example, we have $540 billion. With $540 billion, with the pace which we are importing, we can actually survive for 10 months. All right. So earlier it was in the last budget it was around 15 months, and now it has come down to 10 months. That means what? We are not more into exports. We are not earning. That means we if we don't earn, our reserves will not increase. Unless and until our reserves increases, our your import cover will never increase. All right. So proposals of the taxes, that is like indirect taxes. Now anyways GST is there, so that GST is trying to take away the more taxes into its ambit, and simplification of GST has increased the government's returns. Remember, GST is the single largest source for the government in terms of revenue from the taxes. So on exports we have reduced the taxes. Domestic manufacturing on we have given a lot of incentives and we have reduced the taxes. Okay, more value that is creating in the economy due to reduction of the taxes. Investments are happening, manufacture is happening, prices are in control, creating a demand for the product. All right. So what is being changed? Like the customs duty, like the import on mobile lenses, like what is the value of reduced denatured ethyl alcohol. Okay, changes has been made. Okay, production shrimp feeds. Okay, lab grown diamonds containing concessional basic customs on copper scrap. On all these areas, we have tried to reduce or try to make some changes in the customs duty. So direct tax proposals is it's something like which I'm going to change in your personal taxes. Okay, corporate taxes, etc. That means what 45% of the returns on the taxpayers, and the average processing period, which was quite high, has come down. Okay, next, simplifying. That means like I'm trying to simplify more the taxes. Like earlier, the rebate was for the 5 lakhs. Now the rebate has gone for the 7 lakhs. And remember, Now the surcharge, earlier it was 37%. Surcharge is a charge which is like a tax on tax, which is paid by the higher individuals whose income levels are so high. So they used to pay 37, now they will be paying 25% under this new tax regime. Okay, and there's an increase in tax exemption limit to 25 lakhs on the leave encashment on retirements. Okay, so these are the two important things which you have to remember. Now, what are the tax benefits I am giving it for the industries? So definitely MSMEs has been given more benefits. Okay, and there is an enhanced limit which has been made for the micro enterprises. All right. Now, 15% corporate tax. If you take example of cooperatives, 15% corporate tax benefits to new cooperatives. Okay. See, earlier, what are the benefits we have given? Cooperatives do not pay corporate tax. Even they pay alternate minimum tax. That was around 15 percentage. So, higher limit of 2 lakhs per member for deposits on loans in cash for PACS and PACARDBs. So, this PACS are those rural related cooperatives. Okay, so for them, I have made the limit to be changed because they are directly into lending and borrowing activity in the rural areas for the farmers. So, government has increased their ambit. Okay, and same thing related to TDS, same thing related to the loans. Okay, same thing related to the MSMEs. Next, extension of date of incorporation by 1 year for income tax benefits to startup. Okay, that means the income of authorities, board and commission set up by the statutes of union or states to be exempted from the income tax. So those authorities, income, boards and commissions now will never be into, that means it not be into ambit of the taxes. They have been exempted. Okay, that means what we are slowly trying to rationalize them, slowly cut down reduction, etc. Extension of period of tax benefits to funds relocating to IFSC centers, gift city till 2025. That means what? Who are makes an investments in IFSC, mostly the foreign companies who actually want to work in their own currencies, because IFSC combination is of the domestic combination and the foreign combination. So all the foreign combination will work in their parent currency of dollar. Domestic combination will work in the currency of rupee. So I'm giving benefit for both of the companies. So says related, what all you have, this says related companies, domestic related companies, etc., or foreign related companies here associated within India working in rupee. I'm going to give you some tax benefits. Now, the most important component, from where the government is earning. So, from where the government earns, remember earlier GST was 16%, now it has gone to 17%. Income tax, corporate taxes, government earns at 15 percentage. And next, union excise duty at 7 percentage. So the most maximum government earns, that is the government returns, are 34 percentage from the borrowings. That means these are under your capital receipts upon which maximum interest rates needs to be paid. Next, non-tax receipts includes the fines, penalties, okay, any other receipts which are not part of the taxable are 6 percentage. Next, non-debt capital receipts like 2%, that is like releasing of your shares, releasing of your bills, okay, disinvestment, strategic disinvestments comes under this 2 percentage. So this is your debt capital receipts, these are your non-debt capital receipts. So debt capital receipts are always higher than non-debt capital receipts. Now, where is government spending money? So most of the things like government spend, as I told you, that you borrow more and you have to pay more in terms of interest rates. Now, next, central sector schemes are 17%, where these are 100% funded by the government. Central sponsor schemes for central is to state sponsors like Manrega, etc. Subsidies, we provided 7 percentage, which means the maximum subsidies are given in terms of the PDS, that is for the BPL families. Those are the food subsidies. Next comes the subsidies given to the farmers or the agriculture sector. Next comes like the fuel subsidies. These are in order. So subsidies overall is 7 percentage. Finance commissions, like how much you have to give transfers, okay, so that grants, etc., which is recommended by the finance commission, added 9%. And this is the state share of taxes and duties as per the 15th Finance Commission recommendation. It's a compulsory payment where the government has to pay from the collection of the taxes from Consolidated Fund of India to the states. All right, so pensions and all you don't need, but these are the areas which you have to buy hard. Now, if you could look at the revenue receipts of the government, again, post COVID, if you can see, it has again shooted up. The capital receipts, it has also again shooted up. So you not remember, but he will ask you in the statement that revenue receipts has gone high, capital receipts have gone high. Okay, and revenue expenditures like pre-COVID and post-COVID slowly started increasing, and the same in the case of like in the last year when we can compare the capital expenditures, effective capital expenditures has started increasing. Okay, so this is about the terminologies. It's are the data about the budget. Okay, the budget scenario, etc. So I'll be coming up with more videos which will explain you all these terminologies of the budget in detail again. All right. Thank you so much.